I know I've been talking about money and shit like that for a little bit with this series, but what I gotta tell you is that start with the basics, homie. Sober, fit, enlightened, and rich in that particular order. Sober the fuck up. Get in physical, top biological condition. When you realize that people aren't simply physically poor, they're biologically poor. Physically encompasses a whole range of physicality or physics. You got atomic, you have biological, you have chemical, you have so many things that are aspects and elements of the physical world. People aren't just physically or materially poor, but particularly biologically poor. Sober, fit, enlightened, and rich. The YWY Ascendancy is about creating self-masters through rising to superior conduct by exemplifying superior standards. Nothing more, nothing less. Before you can even jump to being valuable in the economy to the degree which you need to be valuable more than others are because they move with inferior conduct, you need to recognize you need to create a superior individual in all areas and all aspects. It is what it is. Sober, integrity. Physically fit, biologically sound, integrity. Enlightened, integrity. And then we take this individual who is now sober, fit, and enlightened to the people so that you can then serve these individuals at the level they deserve to be served. No one deserves to be served a piece of shit, who's simply in it for what they could get for themselves. Understand and reflect and never forget that. Live in a world full of individuals who think it's all about what they can get. And it's really about what you can give and who you can offer. Who can you offer the people? What can you do for the people? And at what level and quality are you ready to assure those individuals you are going to give and going to offer yourself to? It's as simple as that. In a world full of low-level individuals who are actually low-level individuals. We're not getting into the debate of low-level and this. If you're too stupid to recognize the difference in the degrees of quality of things within existence, then you're just blind to reality. We don't have time for you. Other than that, I'll tell everybody who's a part of this movement that we got going. Sober, stay sober. Fit, get fit, stay fit, and enlightened. You have to be these things. These are the pinnacles of a superior human being. And a lot of people find ways to become vexed with our language and our choice of words, which is the word superior. They have gripes and qualms and minor quibbles about using the word superior as if the words superior and inferior aren't measurements of better and worse. Anyway, we are superior not by mortality. We are superior by degrees of morality. Comprehend that. Consider the vibrations raised. When you become an individual who is superior in morals and recognize that you are humble only and recognize that you are mortal, then you get yourself to a level of true compassion and true living and true gratitude. It was never about walking around in a state of hubristic arrogance, hubristic presumption, hubristic ego. It was always about being an individual who not only thinks highly of themselves without unsubstantiated thought patterns. It's about being an individual who operates at a superior degree of integrity to superior moral concepts which aren't abstract, which aren't arbitrary, but are abstract, and then delivers this individual to all those who surround them. What is the purpose of life if not to evolve and contribute? To be a master contributor, a master improver, a master builder, a master servant, a master offering, instead of anything inferior to the things I just named. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution only solution, self-mastery only success. I know I talk about money a lot, but I only speak about money in the end as an end once you've become the means, which are the three first pillars: sober, fit, and enlightened. Notice that people who are not sober, fit, or enlightened tend to be the poorest, and there are plenty of people with massive amounts of money who aren't sober, who aren't fit, and who aren't enlightened. But once we look at the statistical qualifiers, the qualitative aspects, and we look at the entire human population, if we look at the entire human population without any filters for selection, and then we slowly add sober, that entire human population becomes smaller. And then we select for sober and fit, it becomes even smaller. Sober, fit, and enlightened, even smaller. Sober, fit, and enlightened, and rich, infinitesimally smaller. Now we can remove those filters and recognize that if we only put rich, that degree and magnitude of shrinkage isn't as amplified, isn't as grand as when an individual is selected for sober, fit, and enlightened. So what's more rare, to have an abundance of money and stuff, or to be an abundance of value and to be a superior thing? What's more valuable and what's more rare, having more or being more? So the question becomes tener or ser. Lo do, puto. You have to be both. Consider the vibrations raised. We don't leave anything off the table here. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Sober, fit, and enlightened. If it ain't the first three, you're definitely not free. And if it ain't all four, you're definitely poor. I can't help stupid people be smart. I can only help intelligent people who were born around less intelligent people actualize their intelligence by giving them a gateway into this consciousness that I have and delivering you the clarity that you don't have. Because if you knew better, you'd do better. If you knew better, you'd already be better. But the fact that you aren't better means you don't know better, homie. So you better know something. You better know that you gotta learn to know. You gotta learn to learn from people who have already learned. You're racing against time. I'm not here to convince people. If you choose to want to live confused, live dazed, live in a state of poverty, and that's on you. But for us, we realize we ain't got time to waste, nor do we have energy to waste. And we don't have so much of an ego or so much of an arrogant nature to us that we'll deny that other people know better than us so that we can learn from them and apply their learnings and their experience to our own existence. The stupidest people on this planet, the dumbest people on this planet, recognize that people know better than them, and they won't tell themselves that people know better than them. So they end up blocking their own blessing by purposefully leaving themselves in ignorance. Consider the vibrations raised. Evolution only solution and self-mastery only success. We don't got time for the lame shit. But if you're ready to elevate and things like that, tap in with the kid.